Today, how do you sell web design like a pro? If you're having problems, you want to sell, instead of $100 sites, you want to sell it in the thousands, stick around and watch us work. Bienvenidos al episodio número 107, 107. I think that's the episode number for today. Today we have a very interesting topic, and we're going to go really quickly right into it. We're going to talk about lynda.com right there. The reason why we have this topic today is because you asked for it. Let me read you guys, and Tatiana, welcome.
Thank you.
You have your mic's a little low, but that's okay. You're here, and you're keeping me company, making sure that while Ari's working and busy, I'm doing well. If you guys don't know who I am, and if you don't know what the show is about, and you just stumbled upon this because you want to do sales, this show helps you with, as it says right here, web design. Look at that. We've been doing the show for 107 episodes, and today's episode is really about sales, and it's about helping you increase what you're doing. I mean, many of you are either developers or designers or UX people, it depends, freelancers. So let's just go straight into some of the challenges. Last week, I asked everyone to post what their challenges were on our Facebook at facebook.com/theschoolrocks. And here's the first one I'm going to read. It's from Kevin Percha, who is a school member and also a graduate from Full Sail University, which is one of the awesome folks that sponsor and support our show. So here's his question. The challenge I see with web design at this point is, number one, price. Number two, how to scale the process from large projects to small or even individuals. Number three, how to get clients to buy into the process when all they need is a website. You know, that's it. We need a website. There's not much more. But here's even, the more concise version of this from Todd Schaefer on Facebook. My biggest challenges are to get customers to pay more than $4,000 and buy into the value of what I can do. Another comment or another question or another challenge from Timothy O'Brien. Biggest challenge for us is finding or getting projects and getting people to pay thousands instead of hundreds. So it's obviously a theme. And one of the things that we do here is we listen and we make sure that we respond and actually have shows about what it is that you guys are talking about. So I also did an interview yesterday in the morning on the Matt Report, which is the mattreport.com or Google Matt Report. And it's also on our Facebook for WordPress folks. And Matt does a great job. And we had this conversation. I told my story a bit. But I'm going to bring this up here. Look at that. It's a really nice slide. How to sell web design like a pro. Like what, am I speaking in Spanish now here? Here, let's add an A here to this so that. Luckily, this is very fancy technology that allows me to actually do it myself here. But the idea, again, and Tatiana, me and you talked about this, there is a shift happening. There you go. Does that look better? How to sell web design like a pro. It looks better. There you go. Thank you very much. Applause, please. Woo. We talked about a shift in culture from the 20th century to the 21st century, where the 20th century was very aggressive, salespeople had the reputation of being, obnoxious and aggressive, and you're like, oh no, I don't want somebody to sell me something. And creative people think, salespeople and business people are evil anyway, and developers do too. People who make stuff, they really feel that the merit is in what they make, not in, how they make it, the process of how they make it. So they say, check out my badass work, and you better hire me because I'm badass. That's how I used to be, by the way, when I was a young creative director. You're surprised, or are you being mean? No, I would walk in and I would talk about the work. I wouldn't talk about their problems. It was about me, right? It was all about me. So I'm going to start with this. Here are the top 3 things, and we'll talk about the challenges for those. Number 1. So Kevin and everyone who asked this question, from going from hundreds to thousands of dollars. There's a saying that says, who you are, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. Cultivate your clients. The people that are your clients are the people around you, who you hang out with, what you do, what activities you do. All of it dictate how and who you get as a client. So if you never leave your house, if you bring the camera back to me, if you never leave your house and you're, wondering why I don't get any clients, that might be a reason. The majority of the clients that I've gotten, well, not the majority, all of the clients, all of the work that I've ever gotten comes from, guess what? From people. It comes from knowing people. It doesn't come from my work. My work is the validation of the fact that I can deliver on what they need, but that's really the critical thing, on what they need. Not that my work is awesome, is that my work matches the needs of someone who has the need to do a website. And cultivating your clients is important because educating them is important. Right now, two things out of your mind is sales. Never say the word again. Education. Educating your clients, your community, the people around them, sharing what you know how to do and your experience. If you're a technical person only and you only know how to share, oh, I know how to do, amazing CSS and HTML and, I'll set up your WordPress really badass. If that's all you know how to do, you're going to need to start cultivating your own ability to share not only those things, but how you do it and why it's valuable to the people that you're doing it for. So you're assuming, and if I go back to the Facebooks and I look at the question and dissect it a little bit, how to get clients to buy into the process when all they need is a website. That's one point that was made, and then going back to Todd Schaefer's, pay more than $4K for a website to buy into the value of what I can do. So here's the thing. You're selling the wrong thing, first of all. You're selling the website. You're selling the it. Stop selling the it. Start selling the why. Why do they need a website? That's where the pain is. The deeper you go into the reason why they need a website, the better and the easier it will be for you to continue that conversation. So if I go back to my cultivating your clients, my example, and I'll be very explicit about it. So when I started my practice, again, and I started it as a collective. I was in my loft in downtown LA. I have one advantage that you guys, as our audience, do not have, and that's, you can bring the camera back up to me. And the advantage that I have is that I worked at an agency for 6 years. So I went through that process, and I'm sharing it here with you guys today. It was an amazing process. And keep in mind, as creative director, I only played my role within the process. It wasn't until I became an agency principal that I got an opportunity to have to do all of it. And I had many mentors who helped me develop a sales process. So let's just go through these three things that I want to talk about, and we'll just go through them. Bring up the slide again. And it's 1, cultivate your clients. Number 2, blow them away with your proness. And number 3, listen. Just effing listen. Don't just talk. And you guys see me talk here all day long, but it's half hour only, and I'm listening to you guys on Facebook. I told you I used to do that, and you're surprised that I didn't actually listen. When you had it was uncomfortable. I mean, going into a business meeting or into a new business meeting and having me just talk a little, about how awesome we were, just wasn't necessarily the best thing. And it took me time to become present and to do that. It was.
To their needs and what it is that they're looking for, and perhaps, like you keep on saying, the platform from which we practice from perhaps came more from look how cool we are, look how cool this is, look what I can do.
Well, that's interesting that you're saying that. The platform comes from, look at how cool you are, look at what you can do. A really big part of it is insecurity. A big part of it, if you're a technically oriented person or if you're a designer, you might just talk out of nervousness, or you might just talk to fill in dead air. The ability to sit and listen to the customer is not there. And one of the things that helped me once I had my practice was having somebody else with me in the room. I always took somebody else with me in the room so that they can talk, or so that they can listen, or so that if I didn't listen enough and there was something I missed, it really kind of helped. And it changed through time, but always taking somebody with me. And it also takes away the fear of going all by yourself.
There's a level of development in that, a growth level.
Personal development.
Right?
The best thing people can do to become better salespeople is personal development. Go to personal development seminars, really, one of the things that we've done some of the same seminars. Those seminars taught me the most about how to interact with my clients from a consulting standpoint. One, because I became present to myself, and I could be more comfortable now, right? But second, because I understood the psychology and the dynamics of what was it that was causing the interactions within a company or for a principal. Because people only see the reaction or the externality when, let's say, Kevin Percha talks to a client and they're frantic and they're an entrepreneur. I need a website, I need WordPress, and they're just like, and it also that makes the designer or the developer nervous. because the client is frantic, and you need to be a calming force. You need to be able to kind of console them and kind of, help them through this
And that
painful
goes back to
process.
listening and understanding and relating. So then it becomes more of an authentic way of selling.
Is a totally authentic way of selling. And here's the three things. Here are the three things. Number one, have a capabilities presentation. So these are the three things you need. Three things you need to sell like a pro, which is the title of today's episode, How to Sell Web Design Like a Pro. Number one, have a capabilities presentation. And I'm going to show you an example of one of those, which shows who you are and what you are. And you can say, oh, well, I already have a website. Why don't they just send them to there? So again, come back to me as I'm reading these and I'm talking through this. The reason why you're sending them a capabilities presentation is because they're going to forward this to someone else for validation, either their boss or either a friend or someone. It doesn't matter. Or they're going to print it out and they're going to read through it versus the website. People they skim through websites. Having that capabilities presentation also helps you go present it. So when you're there in person, you open it up and you present your work or you present what you do and what the benefits are of what you do. And it makes you look pro. Remember the first thing I said is, look pro. That right there, you have your website and you have a capabilities presentation. The website is to validate before they meet with you or they call you. The capabilities presentation is to deal with once they call you. You send it to them, hey, here's a capabilities presentation. Standard business practice, just do it, and I'm going to show you an example. Number two, one of the problems is, that you're selling and there's no, what makes you different? Number two is what makes you different. What makes you different? And in business it's called your positioning. There's a lot of different things. Authenticity. Authenticity, obvious. That's a clear one. But what makes you different is important. And I'm going to show you that and how we couched ourselves or how we positioned ourselves at the beginning when I started. And you're going to be by yourself. If you're by yourself and you're one person, positioning yourself is extremely difficult because you don't have the ability to, sell larger projects because you're just one individual. And you're always going to be limited by that unless you collaborate with other people. And remember that this whole show, everything I'm doing, the whole movement is about the facilitation of the collaboration, not about the technology. I mean, we have tech episodes, but you don't see us doing, back-to-back CSS, HTML. You guys have beautiful resources for this. Here, this is a hint. These are the type of resources you have to learn this. And they also have, lynda.com also has amazing resources for the other skills, like, user experience and business skills. And I just got off the phone this morning with Scott, who is our contact at Lynda for this new season for this year. And we're going to bring some amazing episodes for you. And you guys should sign up for a 7-day trial if you haven't already. But we're going to be sharing a lot of things with you, including giving away some free memberships for lynda.com to some of our viewers. But the key point is that all of the resources of, that I'm talking about, both the tech skills and also the business skills, are available in different sources. What makes you different is number two, and then number three, listening skills. That's a tough one. That's not an easy one.
The listening one?
Yeah. So one of the things that I don't have a timer, and can we make sure that we're timing? We started about okay, at 3:15. So the idea for the listening. Well, here I'll give you a story. So I used to come in and I used to talk a lot, right? So I switched that, and again with many of my mentors who I learned a lot about sales and folks that work with me at my practice. I started going in and not taking a capabilities presentation ready for the first meeting, for the meet and greet. I kind of just came in and met the people and just listened to them and, tried to understand them. Now, keep in mind that in the back end of that, we did have a very clear understanding of who they were. We've had conversations. We did have a capabilities presentation right there, ready to go, pre-made, it's a standard kind of, like they call it in business, boilerplate one. But we weren't leading with that. Some shrewd business people, and those people immediately turned me off, which are the people that were like, no, just show us what you have. Show us what you have. We're about the work. Those were the people that you had to be careful about, because all they cared about was the it, and they didn't understand that they were about to go into a relationship with me and with the people that I came with. And that's the person who buys a refrigerator, who thinks a website is a refrigerator. What am I going to get? For how much? that person immediately red flag, and you have to educate them about the process, and you have to educate them to move away from that. And if you can't, you walk away. I used to do it this way. I used to say, hey, here are some other resources that I think would be great that you can use, and I would recommend to some other agencies or to some other people if I didn't feel the connection or I didn't feel that it was right.
And it's because it's a collaborative setup, like you said. It's not just, you're not just buying a product that already exists.